So I have chosen this cash and cash equivalents for the current assets, particularly for December 27, 2025. And this will start again by expanding the trace, looking at different chunks that are the most relevant to this particular query, which is going to take. Hey everyone, my name is Velin, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can build a completely local RAG system that can analyze financial documents using Docling, Ollama, LangChain, and LangGraph. You're going to be able to upload PDFs, process them, create chunks, and use those chunks as sources for citations for your RAG application. We're going to be wrapping everything into a backend using a FastAPI application, and on the UI side, we're going to be using Streamlit. Let's get started. Our local RAG system is going to be split into different layers. On the left hand side right here, we have the front end. This is going to be a Streamlit application that can be replaced with any modern UI application as well. You can do this in React or Svelte. Also within this layer, we're going to be having the ability to upload a document and chat and stream the response from the server that is the LM and the whole RAG system. At the center of this architecture is going to be a FastAPI server, which is going to be the broker or the facade between the front end or the UI and the retrieval and database layers. Here we have a REST API, which is going to expose 3 different endpoints. We have a way to ingest a PDF file, which we're going to be uploading. Then we're going to be getting a response of how the ingestion is going. So we're going to be using a queue that is going to do the ingestion for us. And we're going to be able to check the status of the working job. Also, we'll have a endpoint which is going to contain the chat, which is going to be returning a streaming response with servers and events. Also, we have an ingestion pipeline. In our case, this is going to be a custom pipeline that uses Docling and a custom markdown and a custom chunker, which we're going to be using in order to store the chunks for the documents within our Supabase database that we have pgvector as an extension. We're going to be storing the documents. This is going to be the file name of the original PDF file, as well as the complete markdown content that is available from the Docling parsing. And we're going to be also storing the chunks that we're going to be using in order to give our LM the context that is relevant to the user query. We have an inference layer. This is going to host our LMs. In our case, I'm going to be using Ollama, but in real world applications, you can replace this with Llama CP, VLM, or even a cloud-based LM. The retrieval layer is going to contain a height expander, which is going to take a user query and translate it into an expanded user query that will help us with the embedding in the hybrid search that we're going to be also using right here. And the final step is going to be a re-ranker, which is going to be using the Flash rank library. And all of this is going to be wrapped in a LangGraph workflow that is going to do the retrieval for us, the re-ranking, and the final generation of the output that is going to be streamed back to the client. And the client is going to be using the HTTPX library to access the servers and events. Note that everything that you're seeing on this diagram is going to be running on my local machine. Note that everything that you're seeing on this diagram is going to be running on my local machine. This will be a private and local RAG that you can run on your own, even without an internet connection. If you want to get access to the complete source code for the completely local RAG system, go and subscribe to MLExpert Pro. There, you're going to find a complete AI engineering academy that starts from the basics of setting up your own local environment, running classical machine learning models and how to train them and how to deploy them. Then it goes through modern LLMs, how to build complete local and cloud-based RAG systems, AI agents, and agentic workflows. Also, this weekend on April 3rd and 4th, we're going to be having live bootcamp sessions that are going over evaluating agentic and classical RAG systems and how to deploy them into production. So if you want to become a better AI engineer, go and subscribe to MLExpert Pro. Thank you. I'm in my Vocal cursor instance, and this is the complete Vocal rack project. Here you can see that we have a root level Docker compose. Here you're going to see that this is going to be able to be run using a single Docker compose build command. So if you want to do that, this is going to be the easiest way to run this project. So we have the Supabase folder right here, which is going to contain essentially the initialization of the SQL that we're going to be having. And this will contain two primary tables, the documents and the chunks. And since we're going to be using pgvector, we're going to be able to use an embedding vector right here. And our embedding output is going to be 1024. So this is going to be the size that we're going to be specifying right here. Also, we have a hybrid search function, which is going to be the retrieval heavyweight lifting part of our rack system. And within this, we're going to be using full text search along with the embeddings that we are going to be building in order to find the most relevant elements and chunks for a specific user query. The backend folder is going to contain the server, which is going to be our FastAPI server. And here we're going to be creating our dependencies, the LM, the enrichment LM, which is I'm going to show you why we are going to need that, and the embedding model. In our case, we are going to be using Qwen 3, the 600 million parameter embedding model, and we're going to be also creating a Supabase client. On top of that, we're going to be creating this ingest task, which is going to be the task that our worker thread is going to go through when we are uploading a PDF file. So here we have a lifespan manager, which is going to initialize all our resources when our FastAPI app is started. So we have a context schema for our LangGraph workflow. We have the LM, the enrichment LM, the hybrid retriever, the reranker, and the Supabase client, and the embedding model, which is going to be used when we are providing a user query to do the embedding in the hybrid search. Then we're going to be building just a single instance of our workflow. We have a couple of endpoints that I've already shown you within the diagram, but this is the implementation. We have the ingest document, which is going to take a background tasks, the uploaded file, the ticker, the fiscal year, report type, whether or not this is a 10Q or 10K, and the fiscal year. You can go through the implementation here, and you're going to be able to add this to the background tasks. Since this is going to be a long running project, we are going to be using a queue in order to implement those tasks. Then we're going to be able to get the status for a specific task, since this particular task is going to be returning a task ID, and we're going to be able to use that in order to check the status. Then we're going to have chat endpoint, and this is going to return a streamed response, which is going to be our server sent event. And this is going to be streamed from our LangGraph workflow that we're going to be returning, and we have a different type of messages that we're going to be returning: the token messages, the source event for the resources of the sources that our LM is citing, and different stages within our pipeline, which we're going to be streaming in the UI. And then at the end, I'm going to be returning this streaming response, which is coming from FastAPI with the event generator, which is this async function right here. This is going to be the event stream and the headers that we have also created. Let me walk you through the ingestion layer. We have two main classes. The first one is going to be our document converter, which is going to use primarily Docling with the proper setup in order to convert our PDF files into Markdown. Here we're going to be using PDF pipeline options. This is not going to do any OCR detection, but it will detect table structures. And we're going to be doing picture description if this is provided as a parameter. And also we'll have to ask for accurate table extractions. If the user has a requested visual description of the images, we're going to be using Ollama with a selected VLM model in order to describe a particular image. And finally, we're going to be using the Docling converter along with the options that we have created. And I'm going to be using the PyPDFium document backend, which is going to be quite fast and, in my opinion, quite accurate. Then we have a single public function convert that is given a PDF path, is going to convert the PDF into a markdown document. We're going to be doing 3 steps into the chunker. First, we're going to be chunking the document into subsections or chunks. Then we're going to be enriching each chunk with an LM for additional context. And finally, we're going to be storing the resulting chunks into our Supabase database. So let's go through this. The first thing that we're going to be using here is that our documents are going to be markdowns with headers, and we're going to be splitting on title, section, and subsection. Then if some of the chunks is over some limit of tokens that is provided right here. In this case, this is going to be 1024. Then we're going to be also reducing the amount of chunk based on that. And the ingestion itself is going to be calling the chunking method, which is going to go through all of the headers and text splitters. Then we're going to be enriching the documents. This is going to happen by taking an enrichment prompt and invoking an LM in order to get the additional context. And finally, we're going to be storing this into the Supabase documents. And then we're going to be saving each chunk to Supabase with the appropriate document ID as a reference. So this will make sure that our chunking is done on a workload level, and it is done only once. Our frontend is going to be just a Streamlit application that is parsing the server sent events along with a way to upload the documents, that is the PDFs. So here you can see that we're posting to the ingest URL for the uploading of the document. Then we have a method to get the status of a given task. We also have a way to stream the output of the chat. And here you see that we are iterating over the event and the data. And if we have an event stage, this is going to be for our pipeline stage. Then if we have a token, we're going to be adding this to a text. And then if we have a resource or source citing, we are also going to append this to the sources that we have. Other than that, if we have a done event, we're going to be able to say, okay, this is the streaming complete. And we will also have a list of the state messages that the user and the output has given us. So these messages are actually going to be added to the conversation with our LangChain and LangGraph workflow. Since I already have Supabase running locally, I'm going to just restart the Supabase database. And once the Supabase reset is complete, you should be able to have a single project and the tables, documents, and chunks. Next, I'm going to be running our FastAPI server, and you should be able to get these docs on your local machine. And for example, if we run the health, you see that this is initialized and that the status is healthy. On your first startup, you might get a bit slower startup since the Arak pipeline needs to download its models. The final piece is starting the Streamlit application, and I'm going to be doing uv run streamlit run. And then you're going to be able to open this URL. You're going to be welcomed by this screen. And here on the left, you should see that the API is connected and you're going to be able to upload PDF files. I have two particular earning reports, April Q1 of 2026. Let's upload. Each individual chunk has been enriched, and at the end, you see that this ingestion was completed with 11 chunks, even though the PDF has a bit fewer pages. Once you go back to the Streamlit application, you're going to be able to see that the status for this upload is completed. Let me show you how to upload the next file, which is going to be the NVIDIA earnings reports for Q3 2020. If we go to our local Supabase Studio, you will see that we have the two files stored along their markdown content. And we have the fiscal year for both the fiscal quarter and the report type. Also, we have the chunks along their document ID. We have the two PDFs now uploaded, and this is the NVIDIA PDF here on the left, and on the right we have our rack system. So for example, I want to check and see what is the revenue comparison for the data centers from the previous quarter and from an year ago, but I'm going to be asking something a bit more generic. What was the growth percentage in the previous quarter and year for NVIDIA? And since we have the NVIDIA and the Apple, we're going to be comparing, and our rack system is going to be able to need to distinguish between the two documents and give us a context that is relevant to what we have. Here you see that we got the actual data center revenue growth right here, and we also get a pipeline trace. Let me show you first what this is. So we have the expansion of the query. This is going to be done with a Gemma 1 billion parameter version of the model. So it might be a bit of a weaker model, but it gets the job done. Then we're doing the hybrid retrieval, and we're retrieving 3 different chunks. And all of those chunks are actually scored pretty high, and they are relevant to our query. So the re-ranking is doing its job, but all of the chunks are actually quite relevant. And here we see that we have the explanation for the data center itself. And versus the previous quarter, the data center revenue grew by 25%. So this is the number here, and this is the number here, reaching $51.2 billion. And this is the exact number here. So pretty good. Qwen 3.5, the 9 billion parameter version of this model, is quite good, especially in these types of operations. And then versus a year ago, it grew by 66%. This is what our rack system is telling us. And here on the left, you're going to see that this number is exactly the same. So we have perfect match, at least for this particular information right here. Also, you see that we have the sources, and these are the different chunks along with their scoring. So pretty much all of this information is taken just from this context. For our second question, I want the rack system to search within the Apple earnings report. And here I want to ask something a bit more specific, something within the tables. So I have chosen this cash and cash equivalents for the current assets, particularly for December 27, 2025. Let me go with this query. What are the cash and cash equivalents for December 27, 2025 for Apple? And this will start again by expanding the trace, looking at different chunks that are the most relevant to this particular query, which is going to take 3 particular chunks right here, which all of those are relatively relevant to the query itself. This is the response, and here the response says that the total cash and cash equivalents as of December 27, 2025 are equivalent to $45317 million. So again, we have a perfect response, at least according to the information that we have here within this table, and we can go through the different sources and note that all of the relevant chunks are actually from this Apple earnings. So this is it for this video. We've seen how you can build a completely local rack system that uses local LLMs via Ollama, and it is retrieving documents using pgvector and Postgres. So we've seen how we can use this in order to upload the documents, parse them, and convert them into chunks that your rack system can use, and use the information inside as sources or context for generating very, very accurate results. Thank you for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to get access to the complete source code to what I have shown you, and you want to join the live bootcamp sessions that is starting on April 3rd and is going on April 4th, that is going to go through evaluating racks and agentic systems and how to deploy those systems into production, go and subscribe to LangGraph Pro. Thank you for watching. Please join the Discord channel that I'm going to link down into the description of this video. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.